Gil Martin here, and welcome to the Daily Packers Post, where we talk all things Packers every day, Monday through Friday. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube here so you get our newest videos as soon as they drop. Today, we're going to talk about a little comparison, and I want to state before we get started that I am not comparing Jordan Love to Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre because I think Love is better than them or not as good as them. Jordan Love doesn't have to be Aaron Rodgers and he doesn't have to be Brett Favre. He does have to be the best version of Jordan Love as possible. But it is still a useful comparison to talk about how Love fared in his second season as the Packers starter and what we saw from Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, respectively, in their second season as the Packers starter, because it's a development path. And everybody's path is a little bit different. But, looking back, it's very easy to say, yeah, Brett Favre, Hall of Fame player. Aaron Rodgers, surefire Hall of Famer as soon as he's eligible. And, you also have to remember that there are and were some bumps along the road. So, look, Jordan Love had, statistically speaking, a very solid second season as the Packers starting quarterback. He went 9-6. Remember, he missed 2 full games and part of a few others. Completed 63.1% of his passes, 25 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, threw for an average of almost 8 yards per attempt, 7.99. And his quarterback rating was 96.7, which is slightly better than last year's 96.1 rating. That doesn't mean that there weren't things that Love still needs to work on, because there are. Love needs to work on his decision making a little bit, his ability to read defenses. That goes without saying. His accuracy can still use a little work. His footwork is better, but still a little bit better would be good. And I think the other thing is that Love, and I think injuries played a big role this year in the fact that he struggled in this area, but he really did not run decisively. We know Jordan Love, he's not an elite running quarterback, but he's more than capable. And I think because of the different injuries he suffered this year, he was less decisive, less eager to take off and run for a first down and trying to throw. He also, early in the season, tried to throw the ball downfield a lot, threw too many interceptions in the second half of the season after the bye. Only 1 interception the rest of that regular season. In part, though, he may have compensated too much and not taken as many chances as we'd like him to take. He's got to sort of find that sweet spot. Now, Love did lead the Packers to the playoffs for the second year in a row. That is something that neither Aaron Rodgers nor Brett Favre did in their second year. And if you go back to Brett Favre's second year, he got them to the playoffs in his second year as a starter, which was 1993. They went 9-7. He started all 16 games, completed 60.9% of his passes, threw 19 touchdowns and a league high 24 interceptions. He was having issues trying to force the ball. He was having issues with, learning the playbook even at that stage in his career and listening to his coaches. Brett was always a bit of a gunslinger. So, he ended up making the Pro Bowl, and that was deserved. And he got the Packers to the playoffs, got them to win their first playoff game. So that was great to see. And then lost in the second round to the Dallas Cowboys. The win, if you may remember, was that last-minute dramatic win over Detroit in the Pontiac Silverdome, where he found Sterling Sharp for a long touchdown pass in the final minute to pull off the upset. George Teague also returned an interception, 101 yards, I believe it was, for a touchdown in that game. So Favre, his numbers in year two were not as good overall as they were in year one. And again, he was still in the learning phase. Aaron Rodgers also, he led the Packers to an 11-5 record in 2009. All three of these quarterbacks had wild card seasons that the Packers made the playoffs and made it as a wild card. If you remember, in 2009, the Packers lost in overtime to the Arizona Cardinals on a fumble recovery for a touchdown. Rodgers was sacked, coughed up the ball. The Cardinals returned it for a touchdown and won that game, if I recall correctly, 51-45. Rodgers completed 64.7% of his passes, threw 30 touchdowns and only 7 interceptions, cutting that number down from 13 his first year as a starter. The quarterback rating 103.2. And, Rodgers sort of established more or less the player he was going to become. Now, he then threw 11 interceptions the following year, so that number went up, but he also led the Packers to the Super Bowl. And, over the course of that 2010 season, year three, we definitely saw, Aaron Rodgers taking it to another level. I think by the end of year two, we had an idea that that was possible. For Brett Favre in year three, he cut the interceptions down from 24 to 14. The touchdowns went up from 19 to 33. Year three is sort of that big breakthrough year where by that point, not that you've maxed out, but you certainly have discovered, or demonstrated a lot of your potential. It doesn't mean you can't get better at things, get better at reading defenses, get better at decision-making, accuracy, working on your footwork. I mean, you may recall Aaron Rodgers working on his footwork, in the late 2000 teens when he was already an established veteran and he felt like he needed to get back to basics, and he spent one off season working on his footwork. Leadership is another issue for Jordan Love. I don't think it was really as big an issue for Brett Favre. It was a little bit of an issue for Aaron Rodgers, who again had the pressure of taking over after Favre. But again, I think Jordan Love, you heard Matt LaFleur after the season was over talking about how he would like Love to be a more vocal leader, but that the players and his teammates and the coaching staff all have a great deal of respect for Jordan Love, and everybody is behind him. In fact, if you recall, veterans like Aaron Jones and Devondre Campbell were singing the praises of Jordan Love before he even started a game or more than one game for the Packers. So I think the potential is still there for Jordan Love to develop into an elite NFL quarterback. He's got the arm strength. He's got the athletic ability. He has the leadership qualities. He still has some things he needs to work on. Obviously, getting him a go-to receiver, especially since we know Christian Watson will miss a large chunk of 2025. All of those things would certainly help. I mean, Brett Favre had Sterling Sharp in those first few years that he was the starter as a go-to guy. When Aaron Rodgers took over, you already had Donald Driver as a veteran and a really strong receiving core in Green Bay by the time he was in his third and fourth season. So hopefully we see more progress from Jordan Love. But for those fans who are kind of down on Love a little bit, just remember that there were growing pains for both Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. And, a lot of quarterbacks, year two of their starting is a little bit more of a struggle. Opposing defenses have film on you. They know what you could do, and the chess match begins. You're good at this. The defense tries to take it away. You've got to go to something else that you can do really well, and then the defense has to adjust, and back and forth we go. So don't forget to subscribe and like this video. If you subscribe, you'll get new videos every day as soon as they drop. You can check out our website at thepackerspost.com. I'm Gil Martin. Have a great day, everybody. And of course, go Pack Go.